Fox Sports.
We are the Sports. We are Sports Now.
It's another beautiful night for baseball in Cincinnati. Our final visit to the Great American Ballpark, and the series is on the line. That's right, third final and rubber game of the series between the Braves and the Reds is coming up here on the banks of the Ohio River. Hi again, friends. Let's see if Atlanta can keep the Reds from walking off. That's exactly what Cincinnati did in the ball game yesterday, a 4-3 win in the bottom of the ninth inning. But, Joe, it's not for a lack of offensive opportunities for the Braves. Unfortunately, in the series, they just haven't cashed them in.
That's been one of the strengths of the team since day one, is being able to get those guys in from scoring position. But all of a sudden, that's gotten a little chilly for this ball club. The ball club hitting with season with runners in scoring position over 300, but lately not so good, and a lot of men left on base. In this series alone, 23 men left on base, a bunch of those in scoring position. Hopefully tonight they can deliver a few of those. Offense always comes to the forefront when you play here in Cincinnati, and for Eric Stoltz, the big challenge for him, keep the ball on the ground. Home runs have been a problem for him. Eric Stoltz has pitched real well early in games. He hasn't had any trouble at all going through the order the first time. It's the innings 4, 5, and 6 that have given him the most trouble. That's when he seems to elevate some of his pitches and give up some long balls, which is what happened in Washington. He mowed through there, lined up the first 3 innings, and then all of a sudden Jason Worth led off the 4th with a homer, and it kind of opened the floodgates. He only gave up 3 runs in that game, but got beat. There are his numbers for the season, 1 and 3, as you see, and he hopes to get a W on the board tonight. Jason Marquis was supposed to start this game. At least that's who was listed at the start of the series. Instead, the Braves will see Raisel Iglesias. They signed him out of Cuba. He will be making his second major league start. There was the first one against St. Louis. I'm told he's got good stuff, has an excellent slider, and we're liable to see about 3 or 4 different arm angles to go with his 3 or 4 assortment of pitches, so it should be kind of fun to watch. A new El Duque, perhaps now pitching for the Cincinnati Reds. It's game time. Braves-Reds baseball coming up from Cincinnati next.
Atlanta
And win the series over the Reds tonight after a tough loss last night in Game 2. But one bright spot from last night was the performance of Jace Peterson and how he's been able to really develop into an everyday player for this team. The evidence shows it, and he's really been able to produce at the plate. In 30 games for the rookie, the first 15 games, there's a big jump to the last 15. When we take a look at our T-Mobile game changer numbers, his average has gone from 171 to 392. On base percentage, 239 to 458. Even his walks show his patience at the plate. And talking to Jace today, he said he really hasn't done anything different. If anything, it's been sticking to the same approach every day, working with hitting coach Kevin Seitzer, and really just going out there every day and trying to get a good pitch to hit. And aside from Jace's positive production on the field, Freddie Gonzalez has talked about what kind of guy he is off the field. He said, you know, you could put a rookie around a group of veterans who go to work every day, focus on the right things in the big leagues, and not everybody's going to buy in, but Jace Peterson is the type of guy to buy in, and it's really shown, and it's been acknowledged by his entire team and his manager. He got his first career double last night. We'll see what he can do tonight in Game 3. It's the Reds and the Braves coming up. We've got lineups and first pitch on the other side of the break.
Has been absolutely great weather-wise, despite an hour and 40-minute rain delay in the series opener. Perfect weather tonight, just a few clouds overhead as the Braves get their first look at rookie Raisel Iglesias, who gets the ball in Game 3 of the series. Here's the Braves Academy Sports and Outdoors starting lineup. Markakis, Simmons, and a red-hot Freddie Freeman, Kelly Johnson, Cayaspo, Jace Peterson, Bethancourt behind the plate, Maben and Eric Stoltz hitting 8th and 9th.
On the mound is Raisel Iglesias, 25 years old, 6'2", 185, born in Cuba, signed by the Reds, as you see, back in June of 2014, made his first start against the Cardinals, then went back to AAA, and here he is for his second start. Low 90s.
And I mentioned the El Duque type arm slots and all the different pitches. His windup looks remarkably similar too.
Yeah, if he's got that quick leg kick, he definitely will have it. 90 to 93 on his fastball, a slow curveball, changeup, but the slider is supposed to be his best pitch.
Let's see if he features it with 2 quick strikes to Nick Markakis. Nope, he missed outside. with a fastball. Reds have had 3 rookie starters this year: Anthony DeSclafani, Michael Lorenzen, and now Iglesias. The most they've used since 2010. And as Joe mentioned, this young man signed already to a 7-year contract by Cincinnati. Pitched for Cuba in the World Baseball Classic in 2013. Is a former shortstop who moved to the mound. And he just missed from 0-2, now to a full count.
I was kind of forewarned about this too. Sometimes he'll get 0-2 and then try to show you his whole assortment before he goes back to try to put you away 3-2.
And he just lost Markakis, a leadoff walk. And here's the Reds defense. They're happy to have Zach Cozart back in the lineup. He's at shortstop. They get Cozart, but they lose Brandon Phillips. He's out with turf toe. Chris Negron now will move from short to second. Ryan Pena is back behind the plate. Standard outfield alignment for the Reds in Game 3. So Markakis walks to start the ball game. Andrelton Simmons is the batter. Andrelton 3-for-10 with a home run against the Reds here. And he looks at a ball high.
Five for 23 on the road trip.
Popped up right behind the plate. And that's playable for Brian Pena. Simmons pops out. 1 man down.
Iglesias and Pena formed the first pitcher-catcher battery born in Cuba since Dolph Luque threw to Manuel Cueto in 1918 for the Reds.
They're back at it again tonight with Freddie Freeman, the hitter, and he backs away from ball 1. Yeah, we've seen some historic batteries this year. How about the Phillies? They had the first Panamanian battery with Carlos Ruiz and Severino Gonzalez for the Fightins. 1-0 pitch. Take it low. And ball 2 for Freddie. Popped out of play to the left side. It's now a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Freddie's riding a 9-game hitting streak for the Braves. And a fly ball hit toward right and playable for Jay Bruce. That sounded funny off the bat.
Yeah, I think he got it off the end a little bit. So far, a lot of movement on his pitches. Yeah, it sounded like his bat was a little soft, but it was mostly just because it was off the end.
2 outs now for Kelly Johnson. And he fouls one away.
Didn't hurt himself, did he?
Something grabbed.
He immediately walked out of the box and took a big circle. He's hurting.
Yep.
He's hurt his back.
Yep.
Here comes Freddie and Bubba.
Braves have had enough back trouble for 1 week. Jason Grilli was out with a troublesome back and was unavailable for 6 days. He finally was able to pitch last night. Now Kelly Johnson with his first swing of the night. Hand came off the bat. And then the grimacing began.
I hope it's not anything serious, but Freddie's already looking in the dugout. Could be his back, could be his oblique.
Wow. So Kelly Johnson can't continue his first inning at bat. He'll be taken down, and we'll see who Freddie calls on to take Kelly's place in the batter's box and then in the outfield. Looks like Johnny Gomes is going to grab a helmet.
You know, Kelly's been swinging the bat so well. 4 for 13 on this road trip. 2 of his 6 homers have been against the Reds. He loves hitting in this ballpark. That's just a crying shame.
Kelly Johnson, the Braves co-leader in RBIs with 18, tweaked something on his first swing of the game. And now the Reds fans with an appreciative cheer for Johnny Gomes, very popular Red in his time here in Cincinnati. He'll assume an 0-2 count with Nick Markakis aboard and 2 outs in the first inning.
Well, step in the box and be ready to swing.
Yeah, that's usually not a problem for Johnny, though, is it?
No, but more so now than usual. We say all the time, it seems like every time the guy comes off the bench, he's 0-2. Well, guess what?
Here he is with a real 0-2 count. And he takes upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Crossfire delivery and a drive towards center, and that's playable for Billy Hamilton. Raisel Iglesias works the scoreless top of the first. Eric Stoltz is coming on for Atlanta. He's on his way to the Braves training room, and as soon as we get an update, we will pass that along as the Reds line up Their Academy Sports and Outdoors lineup features Hamilton, Cozart, Votto, Frazier, and Bird. That's a pretty salty fivesome. You got Jay Bruce in there too. Negron at second. Brian Pena riding a hot streak behind the plate. Iglesias pitching versus Eric Stoltz in Game 3.
Seventh start for Eric. He's 1-3 with a 4.84 ERA. And as we've been saying, he's been getting off to good starts. He just can't quite get through the fourth, fifth, and sixth inning without any damage. First time through the lineup, great numbers, no homers. Not so much after that.
His night begins with a strike to Billy Hamilton. Hamilton picked up his first bunt hit yesterday. And quickly, 0-2. He was thrown out trying to steal front end of a strike him out, throw him out double play. I misspoke. Braves didn't throw out Hamilton in Atlanta, as he's down on 3 pitches for out number 1. Braves threw out D. Gordon of the Marlins earlier this year. And Stoltz off to a good start. 1 down.
His 4 keys to pitching success. It is that second segment of 3 innings that he's got to pay close attention to today. And don't forget that you're working in a bandbox down by the river. 7 homers. Got to keep the ball down.
He didn't on that fly ball toward left. And Gomes can't get it. It's going to bounce off the base of the fence. And Zach Cozart, sore wrist and all, doubles on the first pitch he sees.
Couldn't tell if Gomes saw that ball off the bat and got a late start. He had his glove up right away. And he seemed to be tracking it. He just didn't get there.
So Cozart, who was a late scratch yesterday, doubles with 1 out, and that'll bring up Joey Votto. High pop out of play. So we've gone from Billy Joel to Chris Farley in about 15 minutes with you tonight.
It's pretty exciting stuff.
It's really good stuff. Votto at 2.99 for the year. And that went right back through the box. Cozart held up for a second. They're going to wave him around. Here comes the throw toward the plate. It is going to be up the line, and safe is Cozart. Joey Votto makes it 1-0.
That's the first inning run Eric has allowed in his 7 starts, and his glove kind of slowed it down.
Tell you what, Jim Riggleman's been real aggressive at third base in the 9th inning last night, in the 1st inning tonight. He sent Lorenzen, the pinch runner and a Reds pitcher, who scored the game-ending run. And Cozart all the way around after holding up on that shot up the middle from Joey Votto. And it's 1-0 Reds. Todd Frazier, ground ball to second. And Simmons will turn the double play. First run allowed by Eric Stoltz in the 1st inning. An RBI hit from Joey Votto makes it 1-0 Cincinnati.
Right stuff, low price every day.
Cincinnati strikes first, a double and a single with one out. Braves try to get even here in the second with Cayaspo, Peterson, and Christian Bethancourt coming up. Got to get Alberto going.
Yeah, he could use a hit.
Hard to believe that Cayaspo doesn't have a hit against the Reds this year. He's 0 for 17 against Cincinnati pitching. And that one's dribbled foul for an even count. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That even goes back before that. He's 11 for his last 70. You said earlier, Chip, this is a rubber game in the 3-game series, which it is. And it's also game 7 between these two clubs for the season series.
Bragging rights on the line.
Last meeting of the year.
Sharply hit towards second, but Negron is there and has it for the first out. We leave town. The Reds will welcome the Giants for a 4-game series. Braves are off to Miami. Will face the Marlins on Friday. Brian Price and his Reds a game under 500 at 16 and 17. Cincinnati 7.5 games behind the Cardinals in the Central. Strike 1 to Jace Peterson. Jace all the way up to 293. And he skies this one toward left. That should be easy, and it is. 2 out. Five straight outs after the leadoff walk, and Christian Bethancourt is the batter. Christian picked up his first multi-hit game of the year against the Reds back in Atlanta on May the 3rd.
You mentioned, sorry, Chip, you mentioned those records, and I started adding it up here. There are 15 of the 30 teams in the major leagues that are within 3 games of 500, either 3 above or 3 below.
Toward third, Frazier at the bag, and his throw to first gets Bethancourt, who is out by a step. He might have stepped on Joey Votto as across the first base bag. 3 out, 3 down for Atlanta in the second. We'll continue that point in a moment. In baseball history, Stan the Man Musial at Wrigley Field on the precipice of history.
Right there, there it is! Into left field! Hit number 3,000! A run is scored! Musial around first! On his way to second with a double! Holy cow!
That announcer needs to switch to decaf. What a hitter Stan Musial was. That legendary man picked up hit number 3,000 against Mo Drabowski.
And it was in a pinch hit appearance. He had actually sat out that game to wait and try and break their, or to get his 3,000th hit in St. Louis, but they called on him to pinch hit at Wrigley Field, and he got it there. It's odd that hear your dad calling the Cardinals in Wrigley Field.
Funny how that worked.
Your grandfather, excuse me.
Stan Musial, a lifetime .331 hitter. And incredible stats, 3,630 hits, right?
Right.
1,815 at home, 1,815 on the road for Stan Musial. And there's a connection with Stan Musial in a roundabout way here in Cincinnati. One of the proud sons of this area is Ken Griffey Jr., who went to high school here in Cincinnati, played his career, part of his career with the Reds. Interesting note that Ken Griffey Jr. and Stan Musial were both born on December 21st and were both born in Donora, Pennsylvania.
That city very proud of those two guys for sure. I don't know what was going on, but something between first base umpire.
High fly ball toward left. Gomes has gone as far as he can go. Marlon Byrd has hit his 7th homer. That's the 8th homer allowed by Eric Stoltz. And the Reds have scored again. It's 2-0.
Well, he's the Reds' version of Ryan Howard against Atlanta and the damage he does to the Braves. Pitched down and in on an 0-2 count and dropped it right on top of the fence, and it went in.
So 11 runs batted in for Marlon Byrd this month, and he's homered against Stoltz for the 2nd time in less than 2 weeks.
Anyway, Jeff Nelson is the crew chief, and he was over in the Braves dugout leaning over the rail talking to the staff, and that's why this inning was a little late getting underway. I'm not sure what it was about. Didn't seem to be demonstrative. He wasn't yelling at anyone or anyone yelling at him.
To first, Freddie Freeman. Big hop leads Stoltz to the bag, and that takes care of Jay Bruce. Well, Eric has thrown 12 pitches. He hasn't thrown a ball yet. Unfortunately, he's down 2-0 on 12 pitches. That's hard to do. Here's Christopher Negron. Negron is a super utility player for the Reds. He can play any place, and has this season already for the Reds. Brandon Phillips listed as day-to-day with turf toe. That bothered him on the road trip. Negron didn't get it. 2 balls and a strike.
He's one of those guys that gets traded. He wasn't traded before the deadline. He was traded in August from the Red Sox to the Reds back in 2009 for Alex Gonzalez. The Red Sox obviously needed an infielder, picked up Alex Gonzalez. Well, at the time, Negron was an A-ball. And in 2009, he was hitting .264 at Salem, and that's where he was when he got traded over. So nothing spectacular about it, but all of a sudden, along the way, he began to develop, and just one of those deals where you get a minor league player, and the Reds scouting department was sharp enough to see some talent there, and here he is as a real good utility player for them.
Even count for Chris Negron. The pitch is cut on and missed. Stoltz has his second strikeout.
Well located there ahead in the count. Got him to expand his strike zone.
Former Brave Brian Pena hurt the Braves last night, a 3-hit game. And he's hit safely in 5 straight. This ballpark is the National League Central's version of Citizens Bank Park in Philly, with that short porch in left. Marlon Byrd's homer traveled a grand total of 343 feet. That's a routine fly ball out in Atlanta. Here it bounced right off the top of the fence and cost Stoltz a second run.
Every fly ball here has a chance.
And Pena, the 8th place hitter, walks on 5 pitches. And that'll bring up Iglesias, the Reds pitcher.
That's not a problem for Eric, or hasn't been. He didn't walk anyone in his last start against Washington. 6 innings, 7 hits, no walks, struck out 7. In his start against the Reds, 7 innings, 11 hits, only 1 walk. But he gave up 2 homers in each of those starts. It's just a ton of hits that get to him, typically from the 4th inning, 5th inning, and 6th inning.
Stoltz won in Cincinnati in 2008. That's his lone win against the Reds. Ken Griffey Jr. was the 3rd place hitter and center fielder for the Reds back then. And a shot foul on a play by Iglesias.
Well, if he's a converted shortstop, he must have the ability to swing the bat a little bit. Not a bad swing there.
Iglesias left Cuba in 2013. Became eligible to sign a major league contract after he established residency in Haiti. One ball, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. That takes care of the Reds. We need 3 outs, boys. Bethancourt waits for the signal, gets it, and Stoltz has his 3rd strikeout. Bird's solo homer leads off the inning. It's 2-0 Reds.
earlier, crew chief Jeff Nelson was over talking to the Braves staff and simply notifying them that he was aware of the shades simply right above the fence out in center field, below where those cameras are based. They were up, apparently, the first time the Braves were up to bat. It may have been something that would affect the guys at the plate, but he was just letting them know that he was aware and talking to them about that, and now they are down. So hopefully there should be nothing more about it going forward, guys.
You know what, Christina, that's funny you mention that, because there's a smoky glass area right below the camera positions that I think is like a restaurant in straightaway center field. And for the first time that I can remember, the sun was shining right into that restaurant where I could see people walking around. Now I can't. So there might have been a little bit of glare off the glass before they dropped those shades.
So all's in order as we head to inning number 3, and Cameron Maybin. And that's a strike. Good run of work for Cameron, hitting .324 in his last 11 games. And another strike from Iglesias. It's 0-2. Again, a crossfire fastball. And again, this time with a breaking ball. Maybin is strikeout victim number 1.
Yeah, that was the slower version, and that was a good one.
And one out for Eric Stoltz. We're getting word now from the Braves training room that Kelly Johnson left with a right oblique strain. A strike for Stoltz. It's 0-1.
I hate to hear that. Those things can be so slow to heal. Of course, we won't know till after the game how serious it is, and if it's going to require a DL stint, I would guess that it is, just based on our knowledge and history of oblique strains, which brings me to wonder about Joey Turdoslavich, who was injured coming out of spring training with a similar type injury, I believe.
Haven't heard a word about Joey since the spring. Back to the top, and Nick Markakis, 2 strikeouts for Iglesias. And he made his debut against the Cardinals. His first big league strikeout victim was Jason Hayward. He's got Maybin and Stoltz in the 3rd inning tonight. He's ahead of Markakis 0-2 and walked him to start the game. Braves do not yet have a base hit and trail 2-0. High hopper out towards second. Negron's got it. And Iglesias has breezed through his 3rd inning of work. He leads by a couple of runs, and the top of the Reds' order is coming up. That's how the Redlegs looked in 1869, I'll bet. Braves fans, today only, thanks to the Braves Steal of the Week, get upper box seats for $12 when the Braves take on the Brewers May 21st through the 24th. That's a savings of up to 45%. Go to Braves.com/steal and reserve your seats now. And remember, you have to buy them today. Cincinnati Red Stockings were the first all-professional team. Their first regular season game, May 4th, 1869. It was a nail-biter. They beat the Great Westerns of Cincinnati 45-9.
In a game that only took 2 hours and 27 minutes.
Yes, exactly. I wonder what the walk-up music was for that ball game. Anyway, they had 130 consecutive games without a loss.
Wow.
They fell to the Brooklyn Atlantics 8-7 in extra innings on June 14th, 1870. Little pop out toward Jace Peterson. He's got it. Hamilton's retired. The National League was then formed in 1876. New York City was the site of that agreement. Cincinnati, Chicago, Boston, St. Louis, Hartford, Louisville, New York, and Philadelphia were the original members of the National League. Then things got tough.
Did you say Hartford?
Hartford. In 1880, Cincinnati was expelled from the National League. Kicked them out. As Cozart takes a strike. They were kicked out of the National League due in part to their refusal to stop renting out their ballpark on Sundays, and they wouldn't stop selling beer during the games.
And they set a precedent that we all enjoy now.
Yes. It took them 9 years to get back in the National League. Not until the end of the 1889 season, where they let out of the principal's office. Line drive to third, and Cozart's hit it hard twice, but he's 1 for 2.
Well, I think that may be, correct me if I'm wrong, but that may be the reason, since they were kicked out and allowed back in, that the Braves are the longest continuously operated team in the National League.
That's exactly right. The Reds were the first all-professional team, but that interruption helped the Braves, who began as the Boston Braves in 1876. Joey Votto has one of the 2 Reds RBIs. That was a first-inning single. They brought home Cozart. Braves have lost Kelly Johnson with an oblique and have to come back from 2 down to win the series against the Reds tonight. Just missed. And Votto took it 2 balls, 2 strikes. So many other great moments of baseball history are intertwined with the history of the Reds. They played the first night game in big league history here in Cincinnati at Crosley Field. That was in 1935.
And a no-hitter. Oh, by the way, on that night too, Johnny Vandermeer, right?
Let's see. No, that was opening night. I think it was earlier than that. It was May 24th, 1935, for the first night game. Johnny Vandermeer did, I think, have an opening day no-hitter, didn't he?
I thought it was on the first game of a first night game.
Don't know the answer to that.
Might not be right.
Base hit to right by Votto, who's 2 for 2. Crosley Field, they had Riverfront Stadium, and now the Great American Ballpark. And they've got a great Canadian hitter in Joey Votto. 2 hits in as many tries, and here's Todd Frazier. Frazier back in the second slot in the National League home run chase with 11. Bryce Harper hit another one yesterday for the Washington Nationals out in Arizona.
Joey Votto, again, I said it before, he looks like he's in good shape. He's moving well. He's running well.
was banged up all year last year, at least the entire second half of the year. And the Reds, who were a game and a half out of first place at the All-Star break, faded badly without their lineup anchor. Over 300 again now with his 2-hit game, and a 2-0 count for Frazier. In the air, well hit center. Maben on the run. He's going to turn, and that one's off the window shades. Frazier has his 12th and his second homer against Stoltz this year, and the Reds now lead by 4.
As hot as Bryce Harper is, he must be wondering, what have I got to do to shake Todd Frazier? Boy, does he get great extension. He doesn't fall down swinging, trying to hit it a long way, but he generates tremendous bat speed. And that looked like, you know, one-handed top hand off the bat swing that went off the windows out there. Boy, the ball jumps off his bat.
And Marlon Byrd is swinging a miss. That was not a cheap home run. That was good 430 feet, if I had to guess. So Frazier and Harper lead 3 others the National League home run lead. Another line drive to third retires the side. Frazier and Byrd have homered again for Cincinnati, and they lead by 4 after 3. Center field. It was a 432-foot blast, but that pales in comparison to what the Dodgers saw Giancarlo Stanton do last night.
Yeah, this was incredible. First inning, bounced it off the top of the pavilion roof, 478 feet, the estimated tail of the tape. I think there's only been 2 or 3 guys hit balls out of Dodger Stadium. Willie Stargell, I think, did it twice. And Frank Howard. And then I heard maybe Mark McGwire. I'm not sure about that one.
McGwire and Mike Piazza were the others. Stargell, you're right, did it twice. But that's the only run the Marlins got. It's like that blast took all the steam out of the offense. Dodgers beat them 11-1 yesterday. As Andrelton Simmons skies one toward right, and that's going to be playable for Jay Bruce. He's got it. And it's 10 up, 10 down after the leadoff walk to Nick Markakis for Raisel Iglesias. Here's Freddie Freeman. He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot. Maybe he can get the bat rack awakened.
Eight RBIs in those 10 games.
Downstairs to Freddie Freeman.
1 for 3 last night with 2 walks.
It's outside. Yeah, Johnny Vandermeer, going back to that no-hit discussion. His no-hitters came in consecutive starts, June 11th and June 15th, 1938. One of them was against the Boston Braves. He's the only pitcher in Major League history to throw no-hitters in consecutive outings. The last two Reds no-hitters have been thrown by Homer Bailey. 2-1 pitch. In the air to center. Hamilton drifts back. He's going to have a lot of room. He's got it. And that's 11 straight to start the game. 2 outs. And Johnny Gomes will be the batter. One more note on the Marlins. Made a change at the closer spot. Steve Cishek is out after he's blown 4 of 7 save opportunities of late. So they're going to go with a committee. Ramos, Morris, and Mike Dunn.
I can see A.J. Ramos and Dunn sharing that and doing a good job.
There was some,
based on what we see.
Sure, yeah, they're really tough on the Braves. Yeah. There was some talk that Marlins might be trying to come to an agreement with Rafael Soriano, former Braves closer and Nationals closer. But apparently those talks have broken down. They've said there's apparently no interest there from the Marlins perspective. So they'll stay in-house for now and see how it goes. And we'll open up a set Friday in Miami with Julio Teheran on the hill. 0-2 pitch from Iglesias. He is out of play, foul.
Well, he's fired a couple of 94s tonight, including that pitch. It's setting up everything else, setting up everything from the different angles and the different changes of speed. Brian Pena telling him to drop down here.
He did. He's set down 12 in a row. That's his 3rd strikeout.
Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan, Frank Robinson's number 20, Ted Kluszewski number 18, Sparky Anderson, Tony Perez, then you got Concepcion, Barry Larkin. A lot of good retired numbers, but there's one missing, in my opinion, that ought to be up there.
Is it the number worn by Jay Bruce, number 32?
No, it's number 28, Vada Pinson. Played here for 10 years, 2,757 hits, 256 career homers, 286 career average, 305 stolen bases in his career. Was the center fielder on their 61 World Series team. He's one of the best players not in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
And the Reds fans will tell you there's another one. That's, of course, Pete Rose. Can't have his number
sure
here at the ballpark, but they've done it
in kind of a Disney-esque way. You know how they talk about the hidden Mickeys at Disney World? Well, they've got a hidden Pete Rose here. As that one hangs up and it's bounced foul. Two smokestacks in right center field signify, of course, the great boat culture of the Ohio River. But there are 7 bats atop one smokestack and 7 bats atop the other. Bouncing ball to Peterson at second. And the peg to first is in time for out number 1. So the 7 + 7 = 14. Pete Rose's number. That's how they get around the numerical ban of Pete Rose, who will be here, we understand, in Cincinnati for the All-Star festivities. Major League Baseball said that's fine. And you can only imagine how loud that roar is going to be at the Great American Ballpark at the All-Star game. Negron struck out his first time and looks at a ball in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. Single runs in the first and second for Cincy. A 2-run homer by Todd Frazier in the third. It's 4-0. Driven toward right. Markakis gives ground. And shy of the track makes the play for out number 2. And here's Brian Pena.
Pena Pinson was also one of the most wonderful gentlemen in the game, too. Class act all the way. Be nice to see his number 28 hanging up there.
Pena Pinson was high school baseball teammates, as we told you, in Washington with Frank Robinson, who was added to the Nationals Ring of Honor while we were in D.C. on this road trip. And Pena shoots another one toward right. Long run Markakis, and he's going to get there. And that'll retire the side. We go to the 5th. Braves are looking for their first hit. They're down 4-0. It's 4-0 Reds. Braves are looking for their first hit. Iglesias got a no-hitter, you know. Let's check out our AT&T Universe trivia question. He leads the league with 12 homers, tied with Bryce Harper. Name the last Red to lead the National League in homers.
Should have been somebody recently.
You'd think.
Jay Bruce or Edwin Encarnacion. Or
George Foster hit 50 one year. Back in the day when 50 home runs was, still is, a gigantic deal.
Boy, was he strong.
Dunn. It's always a big home run threat. A lot of choices. 1-1 for Kai Aspo. And cued back to the screen. It's 1-2.
This guy's giving you different angles and different speeds with each of those angles, mixing it up. It's tough when you've never faced him before. You really don't know what if any pattern there might be and what pitches he prefers to throw when he drops down. Looks like he's throwing them all. Now that was interesting. Did you see Brian Pena? He reached back. Corey Blazer's a home plate umpire, but Brian reached back with his right hand and kind of tapped him on the shin guard, the umpire on the shin guard, almost like, I mean, as if the umpire couldn't tell that they were coming inside, but almost like, be ready.
That's his second walk, and it snaps his streak of 12 straight hitters retired. So Iglesias back to the stretch.
Watch Brian. Be ready now. He's coming inside to the corner. Be ready. Didn't it look like it?
You sure did. Didn't get the call, though, as Jace Peterson bats for the second time. He flied out to left in the Braves' second inning. That's upstairs. 3-0.
Pena's barking at him to get back on track. Boy, what an asset for this young pitcher to have a fellow Cuban behind the plate.
That one sunk in at the knees. 3 balls and a strike.
He's listed at 25 years old, 6'2", 185.
Little flare towards short, and Cozart is there. Jace Peterson almost guided it into shallow left field for the first hit, but Cozart robbed him. 1 out.
Boy, I thought he had. I thought that was a perfect flare, but nice play by Cozart back in the lineup tonight after missing a couple of days in this series. Our Zaxby's indescribably good play. Nice play by a very good shortstop.
1 on, 1 out for Christian Bethancourt. He was thrown out on a close play at first. That ended the Braves' second inning. Strike 1.
That slider's got a lot of depth to it. It's hard and doesn't just go flat across. It is actually going down.
Nothing in 2. Bethancourt pops it away over the Reds' dugout. Little flare down the right field line, and nice catch by the ball boy. Cayaspo back at first. Still one out. 4-0 Reds. Top of the 5th. Swing and a miss. That slider is just explosive.
One of the things when you throw a sidearm breaking ball that you have to worry about is having it come out of your hand and just be a spinner. Basically just like that old cement mixer that Smoltz and Glavine talk about that doesn't do anything or might back up. He is getting it to break. He's not hanging it. And like I said, he's getting some depth on it too when he's more in the 3/4 delivery.
Cameron Maybin was his first strikeout victim. That led off the Braves' 3rd. And that one called a strike. Popped up, foul ground. Pena again near the Reds on deck circle will run out of real estate. And Maybin awaits an 0-2 pitch again.
Now that the sun's gone down, they've raised the shades on the center field eating area again.
Strike 3 call. 5 strikeouts for Iglesias. Zach Cozart may have saved the game's first hit with this tumbling catch in shallow left. It's 4-0. Home 5th coming up. Brewers come to town May 21st through the 24th. Upper box seats are $12. That's a savings of up to 45% off the regular ticket price. Visit Braves.com/steal and reserve your seats now. And remember, you must buy those tickets today. The man of the hour is the man in the batter's box. Raisel Iglesias is no-hitting the Braves through 5 innings in his second major league start. He's been given a healthy 4-run cushion.
Kind of weird to think in May 13th that we're already finished with a team, isn't it? Will be the conclusion of this game. One ball, 2 strikes.
Iglesias struck out his first time up and stayed alive here. Yeah, I don't like that part of the schedule. I like to see a team early and late if you only see them twice. Fly ball to right, but Markakis will get there. And he takes away a hit try for Iglesias. 1 out. They'll bring up Hamilton. Hamilton has struck out and popped out. Anytime you get this guy to hit the ball in the air, you feel like you're winning a battle. He, as we told you, has recorded only 1 bunt hit this year. This is the 34th Reds game. It's that one in the air toward the gap, though. He'll stay in the park and watch him fly. He's around first. He's on his way to second. He's going to try. The relay throw misses both cutoff men, and it's an easy triple for Hamilton.
Pitcher was belt high, got out in front of it, and when he splits the gap, it's almost an automatic triple. And it came on the first pitch,
which is part of the MO for the Reds offense.
They swing at the first pitch more than any other team in the National League. The Braves swing at the first pitch fewer times than anyone.
Braves bring the infield in with Cozart up there. He's doubled, scored, and lined hard to third. And he takes a strike. Over the screen and out of play. It's 2-2.
We didn't know this last night, nor should we have known this, but Michael Lorenzen, the pitcher who was put into pinch run for Pena and eventually scored the winning run on that double by Mesoraco, was said today to be the second fastest player on this team behind Billy Hamilton.
Fly ball deep center. Maben on the run. Reaches up and makes a great catch. That'll be a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Cozart, but he was hoping for more than that. 16 RBIs for Cozart, who stung the ball 3 times tonight, and that makes it a 5-0 game.
3 times tonight. Bottom line is Eric's not fooling anybody. Gave up a couple of hard line drive outs in the 3rd inning around the 2-run homer by Frazier. Nice adjustment there by Cameron. Heck of a catch. But they're hitting the ball hard and often tonight.
Joey Votto's done just that. He's 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run. Five runs on 6 Cincinnati hits. And you were talking with me before the game about Lorenzen's description of the way he scored the winning run last night.
Yeah, he said he was high-kneeing it.
For Mesoraco, that was his first walk-off hit. Lorenzen, a good athlete. Told he was an outfielder in college. Played center. Now a rookie pitcher in rotation for the Reds. Full count to Joey Votto. And a ground ball to second. Peterson's got it. And the throw to first sends our game to the 6th inning. 9-1-2 up for the Braves, down 5-0. Atlanta looking for its first hit. with a game for the Reds. His pitching is our great clips of the game feature.
He's got a sidearm and one little below sidearm. He's been saved here on his no-hit bid so far by that great catch by Cozart. But he has struck out 5. He's painted some corners, and he's had the Braves really off stride all night.
Eric Young Jr. is going to bat for Eric Stoltz, who gave up 5 runs in his 5 innings tonight. And a little flare into shallow center. Hamilton dives. He cannot get there. And that breaks up the no-hit bid. Eric Young Jr. starts the 6th with a soft single.
Just took somebody that hadn't seen him tonight and able to drop that flare in there.
So there's a start for the Braves. We go back to the top of the order. Nick Markakis. Nick's one of 3 Braves to reach base. A first inning walk. Five nothing Reds in the 6th already. Pitch at the knees, a strike. Williams Perez is loosening up. Here's he'll be the next Atlanta pitcher. Down and in. 2 balls and a strike. Home runs did Eric Stoltz in tonight. 2 of them. One by Bird, one by Frazier. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Yeah, they accounted for 3 of the 5 runs, but there's also a double, there's also a triple, and several other hard hit balls that didn't go in the hit column.
2-2 pitch is fouled back. So the line for Stoltz, 24 earned runs now in 40 in the 3rd innings.
Well, his last 3 starts, I think that's where the biggest concern is, the trend of the last 3. 18 innings, 24 hits, and 14 earned runs in those 18 innings. It's been a real struggle for him. And that's 6 home runs in those 3 games, too.
Markakis took a high pitch, full count. Runner goes, ball 4 outside, 2 on, nobody out. Now it's getting interesting for Atlanta. Andrelton Simmons is the batter.
Well, I was told that if they got 5 innings out of Iglesias, they'd probably be very happy. Well, he had a no-hitter through 5. So depending on what happens here with Andrelton, they may already have their bullpen stirring a little bit, but they may be thinking about some relief help already.
Breaking ball, a strike. High fly toward left, but he got under it. Marlon Bird will have room. He's got it in front of the track. And Andrelton is the first out of the inning.
I think that one got in on him, on his hands just a little bit. May have hit it off the brand. Target shifted in. The ball ran in on him. And I think you were right. Not me, just got under it.
Freddie Freeman's flied out twice. A long one makes it an interesting game. It's 5-0 now. 2 aboard for the Braves first baseman. That's a ball outside. Fly ball to right. Bruce is back. He's got room. Young will tag and move to third on a fly ball to right. 2 outs.
Freddie just missed that.
And now Johnny Gomes, the batter. If you're just joining us, Gomes had to come on in the first inning. Kelly Johnson injured an oblique muscle, swinging the bat. Very first time against Iglesias. The count got to 0-2, and he couldn't continue. Gomes came in, fly to center, and then Johnny struck out to end the fourth. Swing and a miss. And you could tell right away that Kelly wasn't right after that first swing. Long walk around the batter's circle behind the plate. Fly ball again. This one to center. Braves have flied out to left, right, and center in the 6th, but they did get their first hit. They stranded 2 more men, and into the bottom of the 6th we go. It's 5-0 Reds. Some of their damage. Our Toyota key play of the game came in third.
Long 2-run homer by Todd Frazier. He went deep off of Eric Stoltz in Atlanta, as did Marlon Byrd, who's homered here tonight. And the new chunker is Williams Perez. I meant that as like a hardball thrower. There are his numbers at Gwinnett. He had an outing in Washington. His major league debut was not exactly what he wanted. Third of an inning, 2 hits, 2 walks, all 4 runners scored, so he can improve on his ERA numbers tonight. And if there's anyone that's been mentioned, Chip, you know, as a possible replacement in the rotation for a struggling Eric Stoltz, it's this guy.
Yeah, he's a starting pitcher. The Braves like him a lot. So he's in the game piggybacking Eric Stoltz, who gave up 5 runs in his 5 innings. Frazier, Byrd, and Bruce for the Reds. Try to get back to 500 and win the series. And that one hit at 90 for a strike. Frazier not sure about that. His homer, 432 feet to center field. Sharply hit towards second. Peterson had Frazier, played perfectly. 1 out.
Like Williams-Perez tried to skate save. But a nice play to the backhand by Jace Peterson, who continues to play good baseball.
Marlon Byrd's homer, 343 feet. But they count. Bounced right on top of the wall and over. His 7th of the year. Marlins worked long and hard to revive his big league baseball career. There's an article, I believe, on Fangraphs today talking about what he has done to change his swing. He's really concentrating on hitting the ball in front of the plate to get extension and hit more home runs. He's been doing that of late for the Reds. Just told you, a big RBI month this month. After a good year with the Phillies last year, the Reds got him to play left field, and they think he can hit a ton of home runs in this homer happy place.
Well, I tell you what, he's going pretty good. Last 2 years to play in Philly and here is his home ballpark. And if he's able to hit the ball out front, he'll get a lot of home runs like he hit tonight that land just on top of the fence.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitching's the name of the game in the state of Ohio tonight, with Raisel Iglesias doing what he's doing to the Braves. Corey Kluber's having a huge game against the Cardinals. As that pitch missed high. Kluber's got 16 strikeouts for the Indians against St. Louis. Louis Tiant, the last Indian with a 16 strikeout game or better.
So it's been a while. Kluber was due.
Reigning Cy Young winner doesn't have a victory yet this year. As Bird takes a walk with 1 out.
This is what Williams did in Washington. He was pulling his fastball into the left-handed batter's box, having a hard time locating it when he walked 2 batters there. But his range, I mean, 93 to a 74 changeup, one of the first pitches he threw to Frazier. I'd say that's pretty good gap. Good sinking action.
Dropped in at 78, strike 1. Jay Bruce has grounded out twice. This is career game number 999 for the Reds right fielder. He too plagued by injury for Cincinnati. In fact, that's an amazing stat. This year the Reds have had their projected opening day lineup together for a grand total of 5 games. Last year, their envisioned starting 8 played just 12 games together. So they are really a what-if team. What if guys can stay healthy and play together? They don't know.
Last year was pretty much Votto, who missed so much of the season. I mean, Price in his 2nd year as manager.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And fouled again at the plate. Marlins are wrapping up their series in Los Angeles today. They're beating the Dodgers 1-0. Cozart Frias, the pitchers in Los Angeles today. Bruce fouled another one off his body.
Braves will see David Phelps, Matt Latos, and Tom Kohler down in Miami. Tehran, Wood, and Miller for the Braves.
Swing and a miss. Jay Bruce disposed of with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Perez with his first strikeout.
Good movement. Sinking down and away. Williams has got to feel a little better about his 2nd time out.
Negron skies one out of play. There's strike one. So Jay Bruce, the first strikeout victim for young Williams Perez in the big leagues. He's got Bird at first, and he's ahead of Negron quickly. 0-2. One ball, two strikes. The Giants will be in Cincinnati next. They're playing Houston tonight down at Minute Maid Park. They lead early 1-0. Tim Hudson's pitching for the Giants. San Francisco beat Houston yesterday and handed Colin McHugh his first loss in 17 starts dating back to last year. That's down low. Giants are getting healthy. Hunter Pence is on a minor league rehab. He's starting to play games. The Giants also signed former Brave Tommy Hanson to a minor league deal.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't think Tommy pitched much at all last year, if at all.
Not in the big leagues. Like Tommy's last major league action came in 2013. He pitched 73 big league innings. And some minor league work with the White Sox and the Rangers. But the Giants are going to take a chance on a man from Redlands, California, Tommy Hanson. Wish him luck. Three-two pitch. Runner goes. It's ball four. So a couple of walks here in the sixth inning.
Missed to that same side as glove side.
And Brian Pena will be the batter.
Trying to start it out there and have it come back, but has not had luck doing that against Bird or Negron or in Washington.
Now Perez wants to make sure he's on the same page with Bethancourt here with a runner at second base.
Pena a better hitter from the left side in my opinion. 5'9", 240.
He takes a strike. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, Brian Pena. Really happy for him. Last year won the Joe Nuxhall Good Guy Award from the Cincinnati chapter of the Baseball Writers Association. Atlanta, Kansas City, Detroit, and now Cincinnati are his big league stops. Bouncing ball to short. Simmons handles, and he's going to fire to first with the catcher running. And Williams Perez has worked a scoreless sixth. It's gotten late in Cincinnati. 5-0. The Reds lead game 3. Field. It's 10 days from today, May 23rd. The Brewers are in town. We'll have a free post-game movie. It'll be The Sandlot, we're told, and it'll be showing on Braves Vision. Get all the details at braves.com/movie night.
That's fun.
Not much fun for the Braves bats tonight.
No.
Only one hit.
Kid's still out there too. They were hoping for 5, and he's pitched into the 7th.
Just 79 pitches. He's walked 3 and struck out 5 tonight. Callaspo will lead off, and he looks outside. Ball 1. Foul back to the screen. Again, our thoughts and prayers going out to the Carolina Ball Club for the Braves. We understand that their series with Myrtle Beach has been postponed because of the bus accident that took place. No date or time or word as to when those games or if they'll be rescheduled.
That was a great idea to, hey, let's just push these games back. We'll figure out a way to make them up. Let the Mudcats regroup, give them 3 days to kind of get over some of their aches and pains. Hopefully no one was injured seriously.
In the air toward Hamilton in center. He'll drift back and make the play. There's out number 1.
And the reports were that they were treated and released at the local hospital, but there was also some talk that, you know, it was to be determined if any of the players were going to have to go on the disabled list. So hopefully nothing that severe.
Jace Peterson had the Braves' first chance for a hit back in the 5th inning, but Cozart took care of that. And a strike. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, Corey Kluber's got 18 strikeouts now. He's allowed 1 hit.
Wow. Brian Pena's doing a great job with Iglesias tonight. He's kept him in rhythm. I don't know if the guy's ever shaken him off even one time. No need for him to. He's got to trust his catcher in this situation. Only his 2nd big league start.
On ball, 2 strikes. Sharply hit, but right at Negron. He's got it. 2 out.
I got to tell you, Chip, that, you know, a lot was made during the wintertime of some different Cuban players being signed, including one by the Braves. But this guy was under the radar to me. Maybe not to insider baseball people and in international scouting departments, but I didn't hear a whole lot about this guy.
Nope. Baseball world's hearing about him tonight, though. He's pitching beautifully. He's going to get out of this inning in relative ease. Pena is there. 3 up, 3 down, and we head to the 7th inning stretch. Raisel Iglesias throwing a 1-hit shutout in his 2nd big league start. May 20th against the Rays. The first 20,000 fans at Turner Field will get that good-looking gift. It's the first of the 2015 Braves bobblehead series. Get your tickets today online at braves.com/tickets. So we'll keep an eye on Williams Perez here in the 7th inning as Iglesias is going to stay on and continue to pitch. Corey Kluber for the Indians has 18 strikeouts through 8 innings. The record is 20. Kerry Wood's done that. Roger Clemens has done that. Roger Clemens has done it twice. So Kluber could set the record if he strikes out the side in the top of the 9th inning in Cleveland tonight.
Wouldn't that be something by a guy who obviously had a great year last year, but who has not picked up a win this year?
You can strike out 18 Cardinals. As good as that offense is,
boy,
you're having a night. As Iglesias takes a strike from Perez, 0-1. He's struck out and flying out tonight. It's 0-2. Another interesting story came across the wires today. The Colorado Rockies have lost 10 consecutive games. As Iglesias is down on strikes, that's number 2 for Williams. Troy Tulowitzki is apparently going to meet with his agent tomorrow and discuss the possibility of asking the Rockies for a trade. Colorado's again not going anywhere. Tulowitzki's got a big contract, and all offseason all you heard was that, hey, the New York Mets need a shortstop, and could they get Troy Tulowitzki? Maybe they've got a matchup.
You know what? If he's meeting with his agent and they think they're running the show, ask for a trade.
Line over short. No, I want to be clear. Troy's not demanding a trade, but it's been talked about so much, and he has said, look, I want to win here. I want to be a member of the Colorado Rockies, but it's another awful year, at least in the first 2 months, for the Colorado Ball Club.
Well, where I was headed with this was, I think, were I the Colorado Rockies and his agent came to us, to the Rockies with that request, I'd say, okay, well, here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to have to lop off a year of your contract. You're going to have to take a pay cut so that we can get somebody that might want to suck up some of this money.
A strike to Cozart. Terrific glove man, but his Home Depot toolkit includes the bat now.
Having a good year. Heck of a year.
There's a strike.
You know, but you would assume that one of the difficulties they will have in moving Troy Tulowitzki is finding a matchup on all the money that's owed him.
Right. Oh,
so you
totally.
want to
Yeah.
you want to get moved, then you're going to have to make some concessions, big boy.
That's downstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I don't want to speak for Troy Tulowitzki. I'm sure his preference would be to stay in Colorado and win in Colorado.
Oh, sure. And I like watching the guy play. He's been a terrific player, but he's also been very injury prone.
Right. To short. Simmons. Peterson got out of the way and turned the double play.
Beautiful. Hamilton knew Hamilton was running, and boy, did he get rid of that to Jace in a heartbeat. That was gorgeous.
Peterson with some dandy footwork around the bag sends it to the 8th. app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, radio broadcasts, statcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or your tablet. 5-0 Reds as we head to the 8th inning in Cincinnati. Quiet night for the Braves bats. Only one hit through 7 turns, and Iglesias is back to work. Sharply hit and pulled foul. And now the Reds bullpen is beginning to work as the kid pitcher is up to 90 pitches.
And that was, I believe, the first breaking ball that didn't go where he wanted it to tonight. Left that up and in.
That one stayed inside, and Maben could do nothing but foul it off.
But that's where Brian wanted it. Apparently, Pena was nodding yes to him, like, good pitch.
Popped up. Negron says he's got it, and he does have it. There's out number 1. Haven't had a chance to talk tonight about the outstanding performance from Mike Fultonevich last night. Really impressed. Freddie Gonzalez was really impressed with what Mike did in his longest outing as a Brave. Just hope that the throwing error doesn't mar what he took out of his 3rd start last night.
Freddie said that's even a learning experience in and of itself, because you're ready next time not to make that kind of mistake. But it certainly was painful last night when he threw that one away.
Pedro Siriaco hits for Williams Perez with bases empty and fouls that one back. Pena took a shot.
Shoulder.
I mean, he is El Duque.
16 of his 22 outs have either been by strikeout or fly ball out. A lot of pop-ups.
Peekaboo delivery. As Joe said, that quick leg kick right there. And a fly ball toward right is going to get down for Siriaco. He's around first and on his way to second. Ball got away from Bruce in the corner. Pedro is on his way to third. And that's where he'll be stopped with 1 man out.
Fastball left up. Sliced right into the padding, and because of that stupid gap between the padding and the ground, it eats Jay Bruce up.
And Siriaco's credited with a triple. So how about this? The Braves bench, which has done such a great job all year, has both hits tonight. Eric Young in a pinch in the 6th. Siriaco pinch hitting in the 8th.
Pedro's 2 for 3. He's got a double and a triple now as a pinch hitter.
Well, let's spoil the shutout. Let's see if Markakis can bring home Siriaco. Trevor Cahill will be the next Braves pitcher. Good rip and out of play. Kluber, by the way, is out of the game for Cleveland.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, they took him out after 8 innings, 18 strikeouts, 1 hit, and no walks. Indians lead the Cardinals 2-0. And now it's a final. They beat them. Broken bat roller is going to get a run home. The throw to first is in time. Markakis made contact. He's got his 10th RBI. The Braves won't be shut out in Cincinnati. It's now a 5-1 game.
Well, the way Siriaco's swinging the bat and the struggles that Callaspo have that continue to mount. He's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Might see Pedro get some at-bats coming up. He or Gosselin.
Andrelton Simmons 0 for 3. He's hit the ball in the air 3 times. And a strike. Right off the end of the bat, headed for the camera well beyond the Reds dugout.
That's the pitch that's done the most damage tonight. The one he's thrown sidearm and about between the belt and letters, but at the middle of the plate, and then have it move off the plate. And the guys have been popping it up and fouling it off the best they can over to the right side.
You can see why right-handed hitters would not enjoy facing this guy for that very reason.
A lot of quick innings in there, except for the 5th.
Fly ball toward left center field. Hamilton's going to converge with Bird, and Billy is there to make the catch, and that'll retire the side. Braves have 2 hits, both by pinch hitters, and the Cuban connection enjoying a 5-1 lead in the home 8th in Cincinnati. Iglesias, his second big league start. His native countryman, Brian Pena. What a special moment that's got to be. What an electric smile. A tip of the cap.
I love it. I love the fact that Brian got him to smile and enjoy the moment. Pretty special.
So Trevor Cahill takes over for the Braves here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Crowd tonight 17,747. I've seen a very, very bright glimpse of the present and future on the mound for the Reds.
Third appearance for Trevor on the road trip. First one in Cincinnati. An inning and 2/3, a hit, a run, no walks, 2 strikeouts. And a home run to Espinosa in Washington. Boy, they got clobbered last night. Diamondbacks.
The Gnats
broke out the big bats yesterday.
14-6 was the final
against Strasburg.
Most runs the Nats have allowed since moving to D.C. Yeah, Strasburg was awful. 3 1/3 innings, 8 runs, 7 of them earned. Votto's retired. Here's Todd Frazier. The Mets are in Chicago tonight. Cubs beat Noah Syndergaard in his big league debut yesterday. Tonight it's Matt Harvey and Jason Hamill at Wrigley Field. So how's Chris Bryant going to fare against Matt Harvey? The Cubs phenom.
I saw some stat on on Bryant's homers have been hit on 95 plus.
Really?
Maybe not all homers, but 95 plus. He's hit a couple of doubles, a triple, and home run. So he must be a pretty good fastball hitter.
Nobody's hitting tonight in Chicago, at least not yet. Scoreless in the 4th at Wrigley Field. Two pitch for Frazier, and that's low. A full count for the Reds' third baseman.
He's got 30 hits now, 4 doubles, a triple, and 12 homers.
And he'll take a walk. Frazier's at first with 1 out in the 8th inning. Let's get back to our AT&T Universe trivia question. Todd Frazier's tied with Bryce Harper for the National League home run lead at the start of play today, or I should say at the moment, with his 12th tonight. Name the last Red to lead the league in homers.
I liked your Adam Dunn.
You gonna go with Adam Dunn? I'm gonna say George Foster. You can go new school, I'll go old school.
Way to go.
That was 40. You had 40 home runs in the 1970s. That was something, right?
Yeah.
Runner goes. Bethencourt's throw is high. Frazier's in safely with his 5th steal.
Christian had no chance there. Cahill did not make him stop. He just kept walking and going. I saw big George Foster hit a couple of balls in the upper tank at Riverfront Stadium. That was a great hitter's ballpark, but it was still a big poke to go up in the upper deck.
B-Dub in the truck tells me that Foster's 50 home run season came the year before he led the league. He hit 52 in Cincinnati. And the game changed in the mid to late 90s, where everybody was hitting 30, 40 home runs in the big leagues. Or Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire's chase in 1998. Braves also were a huge home run hitting team that year. In fact, they set a big league record on this date in 98. 1-2 pitch is cranked by Bird to deep left. Gomes is back and at the fence is going to make the grab. Marlin had a little too much topspin on that baby. He's out number 2. And Frazier back at second with 2 outs. 1998, the Braves hit a home run in St. Louis. Ryan Klesko turned the trick. Atlanta hit a home run in 25 consecutive games.
Isn't that incredible?
That year the Braves won 106 games. And I didn't realize that the Braves home run leader that year was the Big Cat. Andres Galarraga hit 44 homers, drove in 121. Andrew Jones hit 31. Chipper was over 30. Javi Lopez was over 30. And a broken bat roller out to second. Cahill dances around the barrel of the bat. And pitches a scoreless 8th inning. No homers in the 8th. All Cincinnati. We go to the 9th. 5-1 Reds.
AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
Last call for the Braves in the 9th inning. 5-1. Cincinnati has the lead. Anytime you get to see Ryan Klesko hit a home run, you got to show the video, don't you?
Heck yeah.
Celebrating 50 years of Braves baseball in Atlanta, and there it is. The old ballpark. You know, we talk all the time about the era of the mid to late 90s and all the inflated offensive numbers. For me, it just makes the accomplishments of John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, and Tom Glavine even more impressive.
Couldn't agree more. This guy was awesome 2 nights ago. Came in for an inning, struck out the side.
Line drive by Freeman to left. 1 pitch, 1 out. Freddie's hit streak comes to a close with 4 fly balls.
You mentioned the big cat, Andres Galarraga. 44 homers and a ton of RBIs. It just occurred to me that if there's a guy you want to compare Giancarlo Stanton to in terms of raw power, bat speed, and the way the ball jumps off his bat, you can go to Galarraga and find a pretty good comparison.
Was he the man that hit the home run in Florida?
He was.
In the old ballpark, way up in the upper deck, right?
Above the exits in the upper deck. So he could hit them 9 miles too. He could also hit these scorching line drives that would like one hop the fence in left center field that never got more than 10 or 15 feet off the ground. So when you said his name, that immediately that's what I thought of was Stanton, and how we sometimes try to figure out, well, who does he remind us of, the strength that he has. There's a guy.
And he was no spring chicken in '98, was he? Andres was all those years.
I don't know how old he was. I can look it up. But you're right. He was well into his 30s.
Great hitter. Great guy, too, upstairs for Johnny Gomes. 1 out in the 9th, 5-1 Cincinnati. Reds trying to get wins in back-to-back games from Cuban pitchers. Aroldis Chapman was the winner last night in relief. Last time that's happened in the big leagues was when El Duque and Jose Contreras won back-to-back games for the White Sox 10 years ago. Strike 3. Gomes is retired. 2 out.
Galarraga with 37.
37. Wow.
Good pitch.
So Callaspo, the final hope for the Braves. He's 0 for 2 with a walk.
Kind of tough to deal with that when he's hitting those spots.
And a change up. It's 0-2. Wasted way outside. A ball and 2 strikes. In the air to right. Bruce is there, and the Reds have beaten the Braves. They win tonight 5-1. They win the series, and look at Iglesias. A smile of joy as he wins for the first time. And he sprints out to join his teammates in the middle of the diamond.
How many starting pitchers do you know that come out after 8 and hang around and run out on the field to shake hands with everybody?
Can you imagine the emotions going through that young man? He left Cuba, went to Haiti to establish residency. The Reds discovered him, signed him, and he's in the big leagues, and he's in the win column.
And on top of that, he gets to wear red.
5-1. That's your final from the Great American Ballpark. And we'll return to recap it for you right after this.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.